My friend Danny Fenster is an American journalist who's been detained in Myanmar by their military and has been held for over 100 days without due process. Please check out the hashtag #BringDannyHome or go to bringdannyhome.com for more information. Please consider signing the petition and sharing Danny's story.
On this episode of Galaxy Tenants, we head to Vail, Colorado for a conversation with Scott Rednor of Shakedown Bar, Maps Music, and Brothers Keeper. And we feature You Can't Stop the Changes with Andy Hall, Ross James, Todd Smallie, and Mark Levy, as well as Look at Where We Are with Keith Moseley, Ross James, Tyler Grant, and Mark Levy.
Well, thank you for doing this on such short notice, man. I love that I can just hit you up and you're down to do something like this. It's great.
It's the first day of the rest of my life.
You're about to go into the busy season now.
Yeah, but I'm Lee Popa, I don't know if you know Lee, he runs Color Red Japan and has been a producer and engineer for years. And he was just here with us for a month and we recorded and finished up between 25 and 30 songs.
Wow.
All original material with Brothers Keeper and Corey Montgomery and our friend Brendan McKinney. And obviously the whole crew was involved on the recordings too.
That's wonderful. I was going to say, let's just jump right into it. Let me first introduce you. For our listeners, this is Scott Rednor, who is involved in quite a few things that I want to talk to you about today. Scott, thank you for joining us.
Absolute pleasure.
Tell me about what's going on with Maps and your current musical output. I'd also like to segue that into talk of the Vail community. I'd love to get a sense of how that community is up there as an outsider.
Yeah, man. Maps is going just amazingly. We hadn't even met a year ago today. I think it was like maybe the first weekend, November or so, that I was approached by a very kind woman whose father and brother had just passed away. And she explained to me what our music that summer had done for her in her healing process and said that she wanted to help perpetuate that gift to others in the spirit of her family that has passed on because music meant so much to them. So coming up on, I think we met maybe 11 months ago and we've raised almost $500,000 and done over 70 sessions with different artists all winter, helping to keep the artist community, prospering a bit. And we developed this whole program to break down barriers to success for artists, from helping them understand how to open up a business account and separate their business and their personal lives, all the way through to acting as a nonprofit label, to giving super artist fair deals on recording at what has become the Map Studio, which was Shakedown, which is Shakedown again. But we've been kind of transferring the bar between recording studio and bar since January. The bulk of it being recording studio.
Can you give folks a sense of what the abbreviation stands for?
MAPS is an acronym for the Mr. Anonymous Philanthropic Society. And so there was a lot of money donated anonymously inside of this family for years. So I thought that would be appropriate. And I love being a lover of the acronym. We came up with that. And then our team sort of put this together. So it's all powered by Maps, and our logo is a little steamship that has our partners' parents in it because their dad was a lover of the little steamboats. So it just feels right, and it's all working well for the artists to act as a nonprofit label and to help bring music into different communities to promote healing and unity in these times. We're coming up on our 1-year party in December 15th, and we're going to be doing a fundraiser there. We've got Kamani playing for us. Going to be super, super fun. About 100 people. And we're going to raise money to build out our Maps Sprinter van so that we can start bringing more music to different communities that get skipped over all the time. So we kind of want to employ our artists to go to different small towns around the state or eventually around the country and throw block parties for communities that don't have thousands or millions in the coffers to just throw concerts. They have nothing. But so they should still get the music,
Well, I think that's a really, really amazing thing that you're doing. Can you talk about some of the Vail musicians and the community members from that region that are involved? And can you tell me also just what makes the Vail community special?
Oh, God. I'm not quite sure how to pinpoint that last one, but all I can say is, well, there's so many things. Let me get to the first. The first part was MAPS is there's four of us that are it's Nancy Salerno, she's a tax attorney, myself, Bryce Bastelich, my partner from Shakedown, and our friend Shelly Nottingham Woodworth. And, Shelly worked for VVF for a while and all that. And she just kind of gets everything done that we vomit onto the table in a nice, organized fashion. Just everyone's just really, really loves the team, and we're in it for the community, So kind of springboarding into the community, I can't imagine being in a place where there's more talented people, I'd say this whole state, first of all, but just up here with our Brothers Keeper guys, Michael Jude and John Michelle. Of course, Junior, Rob Eaton Jr. is just is playing better than he has ever played. He's just everyone's healthier than ever. We're all really focused on the music and the community, and of course our families. So it's a really healthy and vibrant community right now. We're all in a good position because we've been making a lot of music. We're about to release a lot of music, which frees us up to make new music this winter. It's just a wonderful place to be. And the sum of all of these great things, the proximity to the Front Range, it's just a couple of hours. So people come up all the time. And Vail's got an awesome nightlife and great restaurants and just a really fun community. We were setting up for another gig this summer, and these people walked past us. It was just a town potluck. There was like 1,000 people there. And we threw the music. It was Junior and I and Michael Jude playing like an acoustic trio, This guy walks by when we're setting up and he's like, "What's going on now?" I was like, a no agenda party. It's just a community thing. And there was no reason for it, other than to get together. And the people were like, "It never stops around here." And it's true. It's
every time
for us.
It's exhausting. Yeah, I bet.
but I mean, I'm just fired up, man. I'm fired up about the music we've made and the music we're going to make and the impact on all the different communities and artists' lives that we can make,
That's really great. Where can people find out information about MAPS?
GoMapsMusic.org.
Okay, great. I'd urge people to check that out and get some more information and follow along.
And if you're an artist that's interested in working with us, get in touch. Another thing we're going to do is hold sort of the Voice of Vail. It's called like a rock review next summer, where we're going to entertain bands and artists from all over the state and hold like a sort of a contest there where the winner will get to make a record with us.
Oh, that's cool.
So that'll focus on some of the youth, and try and get some kids up, and just it'll help us to develop our education program as well.
Sure, that's great, man. What a fast-moving train you're on. I mean, it seems like you guys are expanding in a lot of different directions very quickly.
Yeah, I was talking to my partner yesterday, and she was talking to me about this guy she knew who's like, "Yeah, just been sort of kicking the can down the road." And she was like, "Yeah, this isn't going to work out." None of us are kicking the can down the road. We have one life and a massive story to write about what we've done, and how we've helped and how we've participated. It's a short life, man. I'll be 50 next year, and I'm like, wow, holy cow.
You're looking good, brother.
Thanks, man.
I did want to say that speaking, like I said, as an outsider and coming into the Vail community and seeing shows at Shakedown Bar and being a part of putting together shows with you at Shakedown Bar, I have had some of the most fun nights of my life there.
Love hearing that.
Yeah, I mean, just a great vibe. And when you walk out that front door, it's like you're in the fucking Alps, It's just the architecture and everything. It's so beautiful up there. And some of the nights have just felt like, we were in a snow globe or something. But you have brought together some incredible, incredible talent. And I continue to see you do that. And I'm curious, is it because you have your own sandbox to play in outside of the range of some of the bigger conglomerates that are in the music scene? And
no, I've answered this question and phrased much differently, right? Seriously, because it's funny. It's like, and my ex-girlfriend or my ex-fiance, Heather Lynn, I love her so much. She said it best. And I wish I could I'd have to locate her message, but what she said is, you've become the star of your own stage and everyone comes there to support you. So it's like having this ability to stay in one spot and cultivate all the relationships that sort of we all ride on the same plane of integrity musically, you know what I'm saying? And as people, no egos in the room, just the music, just the music and the enjoyment from the patrons. I consider myself super, 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 super. I could go on forever about super, but fortunate to have been given the opportunity to host such a thing in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you've had some names in there, specifically on nights when I've been in there as well, that should have had egos that checked them at the door. And it is just a bunch of guys jamming together. And I want to say, I've seen it before where venue owners and or promoters interject themselves into situations musically or just for FaceTime on stage. And that can be a very uncomfortable thing.
Terrible.
It is terrible. What I was going to say is somehow you always end up on fucking stage and it doesn't ever feel like you've interjected yourself into the situation. And it's always awesome. It always fits right in. And, you're playing with some heavy hitters and they're stoked to be playing with you. It's cool to see.
Very kind thing to point out. I really appreciate that, man. That makes me feel good. Again, it's what an interesting one of a kind scenario, right? It's I never ask to play, obviously, never ask, and try to shun the sit-in. But if it's like, if they want it, then I do it, because I love making the music. But the last thing I want to do is be that guy. Mm-hmm. That's not cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I own the venue because I play and want to make the music. And it's like, but others, when they grace my stage, like, that's their spot. And at no moment do I consider myself entitled to be on that stage,
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that shows, and it feels very natural in the moment, and it elevates an already elevated musical situation. Speaking of playing with some heavy hitters, you have been involved with the Dean Ween group. I've seen you play with John Popper, Roosevelt Collier. Rosie says, hey.
Hey, Rosie. Can
you talk about how you got into playing with Dean Ween and John Popper and those guys?
So the Ween stuff, I never even really knew that band. I saw them at the first Bonnaroo. That was the last festival I went to, I think. And it was amazing. But the steaming urinals, the porta potties that were full of thick green smoke and foam, I think that freaked me out enough to never go back. I don't know what was going on in there, some reaction of some sort. But anyway, so I saw them then. And I never really knew, Glenn has been a friend. We grew up in the same town, I got to meet Glenn McClellan and play with him probably in 2000, probably around 2001 or so. I think we met at the Double Diamond in Aspen in 1996 and realized we were from the same town. He was playing with Blood, Sweat, and Tears. So Glenn and I always hung out, and then he would come out and play with us. And then Mickey I knew. I think our dads probably sold cars together way back when in Trenton. So I finally convinced Mickey to come out after we started this invitational jam at the John Peters in New Hope, like a long time ago. Claude and I and our friend Bill Levinson and Mickey, that's obviously the Ween home there, that John and Peters place, So Mickey and I, we would start playing. We played a lot and started spending a lot of time together when I was living there in Trenton. And then when I moved to Colorado, Glenn was like, dude, you got to come out. You got to come out. You got to come out. So but Ween broke up, so he was really in the dumps. And I finally convinced him to come out and play with us. And we did like 3 nights we did 3 nights at the bar and just had a blast. So he was like, let's do a tour. And that was the birth of the Dean Ween group, who was Brothers Keeper. And we did 8 days in a row through the South and just had the best time and amazing recordings from it. And, I remember him yelling at me in the shower when I was in the shower one day. He's like yelling at me. He's like, we need days off. And I'm like, you're out of your mind. I'm like, we go to play. We got to go play. We can't have days off. And he's like, I've never done this. It's usually like 2 or 3 on, day off. I'm like, strap on your jammy pack. So we did that, and we just had the best time. And then he came out the following year and did Burton US Open with us. And then he started playing with the Ween guys a bit because Glenn was with us too. And then he started playing with Drywitz and Claude, and then Guy Heller from the Moist Boys. So that always turns into something. And then Mickey called me one day, and I was at the bank, and he said, "This is the call you've been waiting for your whole life." And I'm like, "I'm at the bank. I'm going to call you back." So I went out to the car, and he's like, "Dude, you're the new fake Jeaner." And I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean? You fake Jeaner?" I'm like, "Scott here, you know." And so, you know, after a while, I was like, "I'm going to hang up now," you know. And so I went back to the house, and Junior was there, and Junior was like, I said, "Mickey just called me." He's like, "No shit." And Junior is a huge Ween fan, and I said, he said, "I'm the new fake Jeaner," and his jaw dropped. You know, and it was like, I was like, "What does that mean, Junior?" You know? And so it started dawning on me a little bit, you know, but I never really took any role like that. You know, I was always trying to support Mickey, my friend who was a little down, you know, and make him feel good and make some music and do the thing, not assume some role of someone else. That's for sure. So we went out, man. We went out as Ween -1, which was me and Jeaner's spot. And we had just the fucking greatest time ever. And that just led right into the band getting back together, which is awesome.
Yeah, that is really cool. I remember when I was booking that arcade in Denver.
You had us at the one-up with Harry Waters.
That's true. That was really cool. People were hungry for it and itching for it. And I remember when we announced those shows, people flipped the fuck out. Oh, and I'm not like a huge Ween fan. I've never really was exposed to it, so I didn't know what to expect. I mean, that sold out in seconds. It was pure insanity. And then I remember.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a fucking lack of an encore. The crowd left.
Lack of encore.
Well, no, let me finish. There was a lack of an encore as perceived by the crowd. The crowd left. The audio team started taking down the equipment. Band returns to the stage and does an insane encore into microphones that didn't exist.
Into mic clips.
Yeah, into mic clips through a system or a PA that I believe may or may not have even been turned on. Very, very weird.
That's where I met Taylor, who's my like right arm now with Maps, you know, and he lives in my house.
Well, that's fucking funny. I love that guy.
Oh, he's just the greatest. Man.
Yeah, he is. I love that guy.
Just genius. Taylor Hines out there, everybody. Taylor Hines.
Yeah, I'm going
to. Don't contact him with any work.
He's taken. Can you tell me a little bit about the root of Brothers Keeper, how it came together, and how it's played such a major part in your musical output?
Absolutely. So that leads us back into the Popper thing too.
Right.
So I moved here to play with Phil Long at the Red Lion. I took that gig, and I was like, after a little bit of it, I was like, all right, I'm come from Philly, New York. Where's my band? Where's my rhythm section? I'm ready to play some music, like rock. And so I asked around. I'm like, where are the guys? Who's the rhythm section? And my buddy Dave Anderson says Jude and Michelle, but you can't get them because they're with John Oates. And I was like, oh, I'm getting them. So I said, where do they play? He said they have an acoustic duo too. They both play guitar and they play down at the Grand Avenue Grill. And so I was like, I'll be there. So I literally went there their next gig. And I pulled into the parking lot, and Johnny, who I saw him loading out of his Honda Element, and I said, "Hey, I hear you're the rhythm section I'm looking for." And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I'm from Jersey. It's okay." And so I met he and Jude, and they were like, "We'll have a 15-minute, little rehearsal tryout, see if it works." And that was the only one we've ever had. And now we're almost 11 years old, I bet, by now. 10 at least, because we got together right before I got the bar. And, once the financier came in and financier, whatever, came in and gave me the money to buy the bar, he then also invested in Brothers Keeper. And so John Popper and Jono Manson, right? Mm-hmm. Jono was the mentor in New York City for Blues Traveler, Spin Doctors, Fish, Widespread Panic. Anybody coming into New York and the jam scene, that was going to play at Wetlands, and Jono was the man. He was a little bit older, and he, just a great songwriter and just a real dude, So I saw that band, High Plains Drifter. We opened for them in 1996 at Garton's here in Vail. High Plains Drifter was Eric Shankman from the Spin Doctors, Bobby Sheehan from Blues Traveler, Mark Clark on drums, Popper, and Jono, right? It was just a killer, big-ass rock and roll band, Mm-hmm. And, Bobby had passed away in 1999. And these guys, Johnny and Jude, reminded me of that rhythm section. So I was like, let's put that together, that thing, that rock thing that happened back then. And everyone was hip to it, So we got to make the record with Popper and Jono. Popper I had known for years because my old band Dear Liza was on the Horde Festival in 96, 97, 99. He was more of a reclusive eater back then, and then, we've really spent a lot of time together in the past, I'd say 8 years or so, and become very close friends. And I love those guys. They're just fucking legends, and I'm just, I'm so thrilled and grateful to have gotten to spend the time with them and work with them and make records and tour around and get to be a part of all that,
Yeah, it's cool to be able to have access to guys like that and to be able to output stuff with them. And
they always say yes. I'm like, oh.
Really?
Oh, God damn it. We got to do this shit again. More ham sandwiches and shampoo. God damn
it. Every time I've interacted with Popper, he's been so sweet and so fucking entertaining, man. That guy has so much to say.
Oh, my God. You're so kind.
Well, that's been my experience for sure.
That's exactly correct. But what is it he's saying? It's any level of,
Oh, that's funny. So how has Shakedown Bar been coming out of the Delta surge and all of that? I know you've moved some of the stuff outside and have done a lot of the stuff in the square. Are you guys back to doing full shows? And what does that look like?
No, we're Vax only now, which has just created all sorts of hate. I'm just trying to control the risk,
So just real quick, thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, as somebody who believes heavily in science,
it's not that hard to do the right thing.
It's fucking crazy the pushback people have. And you know what? What blows my fucking mind is these people think that they have better information than the doctors and the scientists and the career virologists. It's really a mind-blowing thing to watch this play out. And so when you get that kind of feedback, how do you have to address that? Do you address it? Do you just delete the comments, or what does that look like?
95% of the hate is from people with like 13 friends. They're just bots. It's just a bunch of crap. Or, don't take my guns, just it's really we're really not losing any customers that I want, to be quite honest with you.
How much of it is even real if they're bots too,
Well, people come to the door and they've threatened shit, and they're just stupid, just stupid stuff. Like, we don't want to have to do any of this shit. We're just trying to make music and manage the risk in our environment. I have children, if I get sick, they get sick, then the school, what about the school? It's like I'm managing my responsibility inside of the spider web so that I can go to sleep well at night. And, if we can pull the vax policy by winter, I'd love that. If everything is cool enough,
It's interesting because it's the same people who were demanding that these clubs open and we got to get these rooms back open. A lot of the same people who are unwilling to take any single precaution or measure when it comes down to keeping us safe so that we can open and maintain being open.
Yeah.
It's just really a bizarre thing. And I thank you for being thoughtful through this and for doing what is the right thing. And it's mind-blowing. I'm sorry you have to deal with any sort of negativity or pushback. But again, those are not the people that you want in your establishment, I assume.
Yeah. So we've been doing like 125 people. Our capacity is 200. We still don't want to pack it out the way it was. We charged in the winter, we did groups of 50 that grouped themselves. One person managed, and it was $5,000. So $100 a head, and you can come in for a 2-hour show. Spend 3 hours there. And that worked. We did a bunch of them. We did, 8 of them maybe this winter, which was enough for us inside of doing all of our maps development. And then this summer, we went to 125 people, $20 a head for every show, and just keep it nice in there. And it's been a great vibe, We're really gearing up for like 10 shows a week. I'm doing some DJ stuff this winter. So, we're ready. We're ready to take on the winter for sure, man. I'm ready to get in there. We're working on new music. I'm bringing in some different acts, we're doing more themed nights, some tribute stuff, some talking head stuff. Just there's some favorites of the past,
So as far as like the Delta numbers and transmission, the numbers are going down and everything is looking very positive. So I hope that you guys can...
That we can pull the vax policy by December 1, maybe. And we'll just have to see. We have to see how we all feel about it, our family, all the players included, because all the players have a say.
I love that you're leaving it open to everybody to have a voice in this and not just being selfish and asserting some policy without discussion. I think it's a really responsible way to handle it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's, there's just, it's all of us. There's no one person that can make this decision. It's not like it's just me. It's our staff. It's our engineers. It's all the players. What are all of you comfortable with? What do you all feel? Well, we're all vaccinated. So, we'd like everyone to be vaccinated So that's how it got to that. It was basically, the fact that we were all vaccinated and have made that decision. And from what I know, the viral load is bigger in unvaccinated. If someone's carrying, I don't know, man, but I'm going to trust science and go with the whole music industry is doing this. We have not had a meeting about it together as an industry, but silently we have banded together.
Everybody's doing what they think is right, and they're listening to the people who actually know what they're talking about.
Similar mindset. I mean, the music industry did not have some giant meeting that said, everyone go to vax policy. We're all just doing what's right, we're all of the same mindset. 95% of us, I would say.
It's really impressive, and it has really reduced transmission. There was a recent study that just came out, I think last week, that reflected that through shots given in arms, it established a certain amount of antibody coverage in the nose and the mouth. So they're saying that it's very unlikely that vaccinated individuals are infecting many right now. This new study is saying that. So it really is unvaccinated transmission for the most part, it sounds like. So by allowing only vaccinated people in, you really, really are positioning your staff and your patrons for a much safer experience.
Oh, right? I mean, what are we doing here? It's all about it's all about the customer's experience, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if we're weeding out the troublemakers, to be quite honest, and I'm not like, I'm not vax, anti-vax. Everyone's got their reasons, right? But the troublemakers, meaning anyone spreading false propaganda. Sure. You can make your choice, and I respect you for it. I'm not a big vax guy. I don't get flu shots. I haven't gotten a flu shot ever, and I don't get the flu.
Mm-hmm. I'm the same way as far as Zach goes.
I try to maintain, my body has always been killing off whatever's in it, and it's healthier now. It's not the toxic environment it once was. I still enjoy tequila.
Good for you.
But I just think, again, I'm not here to make decisions for all humans. I'm just saying we're running this place. This family is running this place, and through our assessment and risk management, these are the decisions we've made to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate those decisions. What is the vibe like going into ski season right now? What are you guys anticipating for this ski season? And I know the last couple have probably been pretty irregular. What are you anticipating, and what's the vibe like this year?
43% more epic passes already bought this year. That's a lot.
Game on.
Game on. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to make some money because it's been a rough couple of years. It's been amazing for us, and I would never go backwards and change anything aside from any suffering and death, loss, that kind of stuff. I love the opportunity to change and breach new efforts and new ideas, which is just that's what everything is, man. We have, again, one life, right? Let's not kick the can.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got a lot of respect for you. I mean, as I've said to you before, as a friend, as somebody I've worked with, as a patron of your venue, I have even more respect for you now after watching you guys sustain through COVID and pivot to do some of the studio stuff safely in that space. And I'm really glad you guys survived. I love your room, and I'm so excited to see a show there sometime soon. Oh. Yeah, I will. We'll be up some.
We just built a new mix room in my house too, so it's pretty sweet. It's you
got a good thing going, bud.
Amen, brother. I keep fine tuning her, just trying to get it all working congruently.
Mm-hmm. Well, from an outside perspective, it all looks real great and feels really great. I would have you leave us with one more point of perspective today. As somebody who is a musician, as somebody who owns a venue, I thought it would be interesting to ask you what some of your favorite venues are across the country.
Well, that Ween -1 stuff sure left an impression on my mind, and I would say that it's definitely those people because they're crazy. Terminal West in Atlanta, I love that room. I had such an amazing time there. Obviously, Great American Music Hall, the Warfield. I got to play the Warfield in 1999.
Wow.
For a Rainforest Action Network benefit with Merle Saunders and Phil Lesh, and it was just amazing. Oh, God. What's that little theater down there? Eugene Salaz runs down there in Durango. Eugene's got it's like this little miniature theater with a tiny little balcony and stuff. And we played there with Popper, and we played there with Diener, and it was just...
Is it Animus City Theater?
Yes. Amazing little spot. It's like you expect the guys from the Muppets to be sitting up there, critiquing you. And then that band shell down at the Taos Mesa Brewery.
Yeah, man. I love Taos Mesa Brewing and their Music on the Mesa or Music of the Mothership. They've done so many cool shows there. I think that they're not doing music there right now and or moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
I think they'll still use the band shell, but I think that the indoor part of that facility, and I've done some fun shows down there. Right. But I think they're shying away from some of the music is what I've been told and getting more into canning.
Julia Roberts brought us drinks there on New Year's Eve one night. We're standing there, we're rocking, and this tray of drinks appears in front, and Popper looks at me as he hands me a drink. He goes, "That was Julia Roberts. She just brought us a tray of drinks." I'm like, nah. And I look out, I'm like, OMG. Julia Roberts brought us drinks.
He has wild energy and wild shit surrounding him. Like wherever Popper goes, there's just wild energy.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah.
What about any Front Range venues or venues up your way?
Cervantes, Scotty Morrell's like one of my favorite people ever. He just runs a great spot and runs he just does such an awesome job down there, you know, and I call him for advice on stuff, see what they're doing, and we're very much in line. So obviously those cats,
they've done some really cool stuff in that space as far as the building out and cleaning up, and it seems like that place is always evolving in a positive way.
I consider them family, man, because those guys, we're all on the same plane, you know, just different scales of stuff. And I hit them up this year. I'm like, anything you guys have you want to send up here, man, I'm in for like handing over some dates this winter. So it's claimed to know what the kids like, man.
Oh, that's where I'm finding myself too. When I go to throw shows, I'm like, what am I doing? Am I throwing what I like? Because I don't know what the kids are going to buy tickets to anymore.
I'm going with DJs this year. I'm like, if I can get out of there by midnight and be home, you know, I remember one night within the past couple of months, I was in bed at 12:15 and I was like checking the numbers and the bar was cranking because the DJ had hit it like 11:45.
Well, I mean, whatever packs the room, right?
Yeah. And the other thing is like, I expect so much out of musicians as far as length of time to play. You know, I'm like 6 sets. What do you mean? No, you know? So like if we do 2 in the afternoon and then 2 at night, that's 4, right? With a couple hours in between. And we can be out of there by 11:45 and let a DJ just run the rest of the night out, which is totally cool, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it fits the vibe.
Ourselves for no reason. You want the rock and roll, you come a little bit early, you know? And then but at that point, it's your energy. It's diminishing returns on your energy, you know?
Yeah. And then you start drinking and doing other stuff to plow through. And, you know, I love to be in bed early. It's such a good feeling.
Oh man, I'm like 8 o'clock, 8:30, dude. I'm loving it these days. Like I get up at 6. I take my kids to school every day. You know, nice hikes all summer in the early morning with the dogs, a lot of Audible, a lot of book time. Man,
that sounds very relatable. I'm doing a lot of books myself. Man, life is good, eh, Scott?
It's really good, man. It's really good.
Thanks for joining me and doing this. It's been a pleasure, and can't wait to get back up there, man. It'll be sometime soon.
Let me know anytime you want to come up, man. You got a place to stay.
felt like a Rambo. You were nearly out of sight. So I had to take a gamble, and I called out in the night. You would have bought it. Isn't it time? I thought we'd never get to dance. Look at where we are. Look at where we are. Look at where we are. How does it go from here?
Thank you for listening to Galaxy Tenants. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, like, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. For early access to episodes and exclusive content, check us out on Patreon. Also, if you'd like to communicate with us, send an email to galaxytenants@gmail.com or leave a voicemail on the Galaxy Tenants hotline at 303-550-2065.